Welcome to this explainer, where we're going to absolutely shatter everything you thought you knew about English grammar. We're kicking things off with what might just be the biggest lie of all, the present simple tense. Seriously, if you've ever felt like English tenses are a giant confusing puzzle, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to unpack the myths and get straight to the facts. Let's dive right in.
So let's start by asking a seemingly obvious question, right? I mean, if something is literally called the present simple, you'd naturally assume it describes an action taking place right now, in the present. Sounds perfectly logical. But let's see if the name actually fits the function.
Well, here's the reality check. The crucial point is that this foundational tense rarely describes what is happening this very second. It is a massive trap. And honestly, even native speakers get completely tripped up trying to explain this. The very name of the tense literally tricks you. You hear present and you automatically think now, but if we aren't using it for the now, what on earth is it actually doing behind the scenes?
Section 1. The right now myth. Let's formally bust this myth once and for all. See, the simple present is actually about things spanning the past, present, and future all at once. When we use time markers like every day or usually or often, we really aren't just isolating an event to today. We're talking about a repeating pattern. It was true yesterday, it's true today, and yeah, it'll very likely be true tomorrow. It's so much less about a single fleeting moment in time and way more about the overall rhythm of an action.
Section 2. Building the present simple. Now that your preconceived notions are shattered, let's rebuild your understanding.
Luckily, just like the name suggests, the basic structure itself is actually pretty simple. It's mostly straightforward. You just use the base verb without the word to. So to live simply becomes I live, you live, or they live. Super easy, right? But you really have to watch out for the third person singular, he, she, or it. That is the notorious stumbling block where we have to add an s, or sometimes an es, to the end of the verb. It sounds like a minor detail, but honestly, forgetting to say he lives instead of he live is for sure one of the most common mistakes made, in both spoken and written English. Now, what's really interesting here is this quirky English spelling rule. It's not always just slapping a simple s on the end. If a verb ends in an o, ch, sh, ss, or x, it absolutely requires an es. So go becomes goes, wash becomes washes, and teach becomes teaches. Think about words like miss becoming misses or relax turning into relaxes. It's basically a phonetic necessity. Without that extra e, trying to say these words out loud would be a complete nightmare. Getting the hang of this tiny spelling detail is absolutely crucial for flawless writing.
Section 3. Habits and general truths. Let's see how this builds our ability to describe the world around us.
So what does this all mean for how we communicate? Well, we primarily use this tense to describe permanent facts, and this ranges all the way from our own personal habits to literal universal laws. Think about your daily routines, like saying, he drinks tea at breakfast, or she only eats fish. These are long-standing behaviors, right? Now, compare those to undeniable big-picture truths about the universe, like water freezes at 0 degrees, or the Earth revolves around the sun. These aren't just things happening right this second. They are the unchanging realities that define our world. The simple present basically locks them in and gives them that solid sense of permanence.
Section 4. The secret future tense. Ready for a plot twist?
Can it predict the future? I know, it sounds totally impossible, right? But let's see how a tense literally named present, which, by the way, we just established is actually this big mashup of the past, present, and future, can be used specifically to talk about tomorrow.
Here's the deal. When it comes to strict schedules and fixed arrangements, we completely abandon future tenses and just use the simple present. Seriously, if you're looking at a train timetable, you don't say the train will leave. You confidently state our train leaves at 11 a.m. And the reason we do this connects so beautifully back to what we literally just talked about with general truths. A scheduled event is so certain, it's so incredibly set in stone that we just go ahead and treat it grammatically like an unchanging permanent fact. No future tense required.
Section 5. Simple versus continuous. Grammar is always best learned through contrast.
Let's pit these two against each other. He reads every day, uses the simple present to show a permanent habit. It's just a normal part of his general routine. On the flip side, he is reading is the present continuous. Think of it like this. He is physically sitting with a book right now, actively flipping the pages at this exact moment. But inevitably, soon the action is going to be finished and he'll put the book away. The pivot here is incredibly clear. You use the simple present for permanent situations and the continuous for temporary ones. I like to think of it like deep roots versus a packed suitcase. You'd say, I live in London if that's your permanent home, where you've really put down roots. But you'd say, I am working in Chicago this month if it's just a temporary short-term stint living out of a suitcase. Or think about your commute. I drive to work implies your normal everyday routine. But I am taking the bus this week. That definitely implies your car is probably in the shop. Permanent versus temporary. That is the absolute golden rule here.
Hey, be careful, because let's be honest, English always has exceptions. Verbs expressing thoughts, feelings, and states of being act like total rebels. They're known as stative verbs, and they flat out refuse to take that continuous ing form. See, stative verbs describe a state of existence, not a physical action you can actively do or easily stop doing. Like you can run and then stop running, but you can't exactly start and stop believing on a dime, right? Because of that, you can never say, I am wanting something to eat, or are you needing a pencil? You absolutely must revert to the simple present and say, I want and do you need?
Section 6, Simple versus Perfect. Let's level up and look at an academic twist.
Now, in academic writing, things get really interesting. We use the present perfect to summarize previous research, like saying, some studies have found, but we snap right back to the simple present to state what is known to be absolutely true, or to describe those previous findings as currently accepted facts, like, it is shown that biodiversity is not evenly distributed. Imagine you're reading a dense science paper. It might say, researchers have discovered that this chemical reacts with water, which means the compound is highly volatile. Have discovered highlights the completed action in the perfect tense. Meanwhile, is highly volatile is the resulting permanent truth asserted in the simple present.
What's really awesome about this is that it basically gives you a direct cheat code for navigating complex essay writing with total confidence. If you want to focus on the actual action of the research being done, you use the present perfect. It highlights the hard work itself. But if you want to assert the result of that research as a stone-cold, known truth, you switch to the simple present. It's such a subtle shift, but I promise you, it instantly makes your writing sound so much more authoritative and precise.
Okay, before we wrap this up, we really need to address the elephant in the room. We started this whole thing by saying the simple present is rarely used for things happening right now, but is there literally any scenario where it actually means right this very second? Well, there is one absolutely amazing exception. We use it to describe a series of rapid, lightning-fast actions happening one immediately after the other. It's exactly what you'd hear in an exciting live sports broadcast. He takes the ball, he passes, he shoots, he scores. It just brings this incredible immediacy and excitement to the narrative. The actions are happening so incredibly fast that there literally is no time for the continuous tense. The simple present grabs you and puts you right smack in the middle of the fast-paced action.
So, we've seen it describe the past, the permanent present, the scheduled future, and even live, fast-paced sports action. It's the whole shebang. As you take these structural building blocks out into the real world, I want to leave you with this thought. Given its massive, reality-bending versatility, is simple present actually the most misleading name in all of English grammar? And honestly, more importantly, what other hidden quirks of English are just waiting for you out there to decode? Keep asking questions, keep practicing, and we'll see you next time on The Explainer.